I love the concept, and the card was great.
It was a wow event.
I think Williams started way too slow.
Well, to be fair, Hutchison surprised us in this, isn't it?
Nick Ball, obviously, our Liverpool lad.
Nick Ball started really well.
He's just like an annoying wasp, isn't he, Nick Ball?
How fresh and how energetic Dubois was. I was quite surprised.
I think Dubois was going to knock him out.
I was disappointed with Hrgovic.
We said this could be a boring fight, though, didn't we?
We said Wilder versus Zhang, bang, bang, and it's all over.
Chinese power.
Welcome back to BoxCast. Today we are going to discuss the 5v5 outcomes. It was, what did you think of the event, Simon? Did you enjoy?
I didn't watch it live. I watched it all this morning. I love the concept. I think.
Yeah.
And the card was great.
I think the fights were better than
the fights
I
were
expected.
good,
And they were well, most of them were close.
Close fights.
Yeah.
Eddie Hearn's definitely on his blower now. Canelo, what are you doing in September? Anyway, do you need a new promoter?
There were a few shocks. So that
Eddie Hearn's going to be absolutely crying.
And Warren is a very, very happy man.
So, just to sum up, Frank Warren won 10-0 because it was a point
Which
system.
We didn't predict. I don't think anybody predicted.
Just wow.
Clean sweep.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say it was a wow event. I watched it along. I really enjoyed all the fights. Were really enjoyable in different ways. So we got a good variety of different things, and there were good contests in there. So we get into it then. Should we start with the first fight, which is William Hutchison versus Craig Richards?
Yeah.
So we predicted you had Richards round 8 KO. I had Hutchison round 6 KO. Okay, didn't get a KO. It went to points.
Yeah,
but I had Hutchison, so it's my one. And he was obviously Queensberry Promotions and Mr. Warren's. It was a good fight. I think Hutchison was better than people expected.
I think William started way too slow.
Yeah,
way too slow.
Richards started.
Yeah, sorry. Come on in the last third of the fight, but it's too late then. You can't do that.
Well, I think near the end they told him you got to go for broke now. You can only get a KO, and most of them, he gave up a lot of rounds before getting to that point. I mean, the first round was actually close from CompuBox, isn't it? But if you look at the overall fight, there was 167 punches landed from Hutchison to 85 from Richards.
Yeah. What was the scorecard? Have you got the scorecard there?
No, but they were actually, give me a sec. 116, 112, 117, 111, and 119, 109.
I mean, that's a bit wide.
I would have said it was the middle one.
Yeah.
Was probably the one. I think 116, 112 is a bit close for where it was.
119, 109.
Yeah, that's a bit that's completely one-sided.
That's shocking, that. Have a word, Judge.
But to be fair, if you went from CompuBox, you would probably do that. That's not that far from it. Hutchison's outlanded him every round and had the better boxing and better things.
I mean,
but I think for a bit of his aggressiveness and coming forward, because he didn't really go back, I think the 117, 111 is more.
Yeah,
there's one or two of those rounds you could give. But you could see 119, 109 as well. So, yeah, the 116, 112 is a little bit, but that's, I think, rewarding his aggression rather than the actual punching.
I mean, Hutchinson, he can move on to bigger things now, definitely.
I think he needs to. It was both, isn't it? His punch output was higher, but the quality of the punches, it was a higher quality punch output. I mean, Richards was a little bit swinging.
Yeah, it was a good fight for him.
Yeah,
it was a good fight for him, and he stepped up. It's a big event,
and he took the pressure. Well, when Richards did, when the corner basically kicked him into doing it, he took the pressure quite well. He didn't really wilt or anything.
It's light heavyweight, isn't it?
Again. Yeah.
So he's going to want to look at the light heavyweight scene. Our domestic in the UK it's top drawer, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, we've got some some great fighters in there. So, he's put himself right up in that mix now.
I think he's got to go into that mix and have some of those before you're stepping up.
Danaviz, Buatsi, Callum Smith, Anthony Yard. There's some big fights there.
Well, there's going to be Benavides is stepping into that division, which means there's a huge name. Vosdik has come back and they're having a fight soon.
Yeah.
So there's outside of that there. Obviously, the Bivol and Beterbiev, I think, are a level above everybody else. I'm not sure you'd want to face either of them.
Thing is,
not yet anyway.
At the end of the day,
I think he's got to go through. I think he's got to go through the domestic.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that domestic scene, you could make a 5v5 in the domestic scene just in the light heavyweight division. It's that good,
and there's a lot of good fighters, and there's a lot of good matchups there and styles.
So
I think he'd have to go through there, then get to there. I think he could. I think he's got enough about him.
I don't know.
Maybe not the power. Because I think there's a couple of them got the power. Obviously, Callum Smith has got the power.
Buatsi Yard and Callum Smith, they're just that another. I think they're another couple of levels above.
Well, to be fair, Hutchison surprised us in this, isn't it? I mean, expecting to box, but he was actually. It is a pretty much one-sided fight.
Yeah,
he was both the punch output and quality was better on his side, and I think he surprised a lot of people because you could see a bit of the reactions, and obviously the judges were quite favouring, especially the 119, 109 guy. So it is
no, good win for him. Williams, I mean, he can still compete at British European level.
Richards.
Richards. I mean,
you see, you've forgotten about him already. You're saying he can compete. Well, to be fair, I think Richards was towards the end of his career anyway.
Yeah,
it was like a last hurrah, I think. Or he's not that old, but he's like some of the boxers are continuing on, but he's about 34, I think. So he was.
Yeah, I mean.
Hutchison is still up and coming, and he's 26, 25, 26, 27, something like that. So he's got to reach his peak. So I think he's got that thing to go up. So I think it was a good matchup. It's a good start for him, and then obviously a good start for Queensberry and Frank Warren. I think they were quite happy with that. And yeah, I call that one, although I said KO, but it wasn't. Well, Hutchison never really goes past like round 7 or 8, isn't it? That's why I think I did the round 6. But he was, he didn't gas. He didn't look like he was getting tired. He continued, even when Richards decided to turn up a bit. When his corner pushed him. But
it was a good little opener.
A good start, and Mr. Warren was very happy. Next fight was really the one most people thought was really 50-50. So between Nick Ball and Patrick Ford, and it was for a belt as well. For a world title.
Patrick Ford. Raymond Ford.
They've got the wrong name on here.
Patrick Ford. I love
it's
that.
Raymond Patrick Ford, I think his name is, isn't it?
Raymondo.
Ray Ford, basically. Ray Ford and Nick Ball. This was a really
scrap, this one here.
It's really good. Nick Ball started really well. I think the first couple of rounds you can give either one way, one the other. It was quite close. But then, Nick Ball really, really put the pressure on. And I think there's a fair few rounds can go his way.
Yeah,
then about the middle of the fight is when Ford got started coming back in. Even from CompuBox, around about round 7, isn't it? And then there's a few rounds you can give his way.
He's just like an annoying wasp, isn't he, Nick Ball?
I actually had it as a draw.
Did you?
Because I had it a 5-5 up to round 10. I had a 5-4 to Ball going into round 10, and then 10 I gave to Ford, 11 I gave to Ford, and 12 I think Ball just sneaked it, although it was close. So I actually had it 6-6.
See,
but I can see 115, 113.
I'm a fan of Ray Ford.
Ford as well.
As you know.
I would have given it to Ford if I was picking one of them, or give it as a draw.
Nick Ball, obviously, our Liverpool lad. He deserved it after the last time as well.
Well, I think, there's a little bit of that.
But he just doesn't stop throwing punches. Ray Ford...
Well, to be honest, after the first few rounds, once Ball started putting it on him, I thought he's going to...
No, Ray Ford fought the wrong fight,
Yeah, I think he had to adjust.
No, I mean, Ray Ford's a slick boxer, and we know what Nick Ball is. He just doesn't stop throwing punches, and he comes at you. And I thought Ray was just going to pick him off, dance and move, but he didn't. He traded with him, stood in the pocket with him, and I just think that's the wrong thing to do against someone like Nick Ball.
I think it's the wrong tactics, isn't it?
It really is. And I think he could have made his night a lot easier by jabbing and moving and not standing there. But I mean, there was a lot of leather connecting with. I think Nick Ball was hurt a few times. I think Ray Ford was hurt a few times. It was a really good fight.
Well, I'm more like the technical side, isn't it? And I think Ford is the slightly technical boxer more. And when he got into his groove, he wasn't outlanding him in terms of punches, but the quality of the punches was better than that and than Ball's. But Ball never really slowed down.
That was for
when he got hurt a bit. But overall, Ball's landed more.
Ford was the champion coming into that, wasn't he? So there might be a rematch clause.
Ford was the champion.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Could be a rematch clause.
Well, I think Ford at the end was saying he's going to go up because he was already saying he was going to go up in weight, isn't he?
I know he struggled with the weight.
So it depends what he's going to do.
Nick Ball's going to want a rematch against
Vargas. Or
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's for a unified.
Well, I think that was more.
That's
like
for unified then, though, isn't it, as well? That green and gold belt will be on the line. So that's a big fight.
I think the fair result in this would have been a draw. I think it's a little bit, but I mean, obviously we're happy for a man. Ball.
Yeah, I mean, I had Ball, I think,
Scouser.
by 2 rounds. Just on his work rate, I think his work rate got him through it. There was never a quiet spell.
Yeah.
So
it was pretty close because it was 167 total punches to 155 in favour of Ball.
I just think his work rate has most probably seen him.
But
over
if you
the
do
line
round by round, it's about 6-6. So you could give the first round to Ford. The second round's Ball. Third round is actually Ford outlanded him. That's a bit surprising. And then it's Ball. So you could say 2-1 to him up to that point. Then fourth round Ball, fifth round Ball, sixth round Ball, seventh round was Ford again. Eighth round was Ford. Ninth round was Ball. 10th round was Ford. 11th was pretty much a draw of Ball by 1, and 12th. So you could probably.
Thing is when you're watching them fights, if they're close rounds, while you're watching it, someone does something dramatic in the last 15.
It's probably 7-5, isn't it?
Yeah, if someone does something dramatic in the last 15, 20 seconds, that can win you that round.
Yeah.
So
I think Ball made it up in the last round to get it just.
Well, not even in the
11th,
last 15, 20 seconds, if the round close, if you throw a lightning combination or you connect with 2 or 3 punches, that can win you that round. And sometimes you only remember the last 15, 20 seconds of a round. And so
you can see the score. I mean, they weren't that outlandish because it was 115, 113, and you can see how they could go either way.
I mean, I could tell by
easily give 115, 130 to Ford and to Ball.
I think Ford knew it was a close fight. There wasn't much grievance, was there?
Well, I think most of the commentators were saying a draw.
Yeah.
And for his aggression, I think aggression won over the technical.
Yeah,
part,
definitely.
And when the technical part started winning, Ball got back into it. Still stayed in the fight.
When I'm scoring a fight, I score for the aggressor, for the man coming forward.
Well, I think in a lot of the judges, that's how they scored most of these fights.
Yeah. With some judges, like yourself, like the technical side. I like the one who's trying to push it. But again, that's why scoring's subjective. That's why you have 3 judges and not 1. But no, great win for Nick Ball. Made up for him, really.
And you had this one scored, correct? You had Ball on points. I had Ford, I think, on points.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
Did I have Ford on points?
Yeah.
I had Ford anyway. So yeah, I lost
like
this
you
one.
say, I was going to be surprised. It wouldn't have surprised me if Ford won. Really, really wouldn't. It was a hard pick. It was really hard
I think
pick.
a fair would have been a draw and a rematch, really. And I don't think that's being unkind to either side. I think giving it to either side is not unkind, although it would have been a bit tight on Ball having his... considering what happened
because he had a draw
fight.
last time. There's no way there's no way that he can have 2
so I
draws
think he's
in
had
a row.
a little bit of the benefit of that, and I think Ford, because basically he was losing his last fight, what he's got, and he's basically just pulled it out by knockout in the last, with 7 seconds.
Could you
to go,
imagine? Right, you've been to Saudi twice, both world title fight, and it's been a draw. He ain't going back, are you?
Yeah. So I think on that one, he's... so yeah, we 1-1 because Hutchison was my side and yours. But again, Ball was another Queensbury Frank Warren guy. So I think Hearn was sort of suspecting that Ford was going to win
man,
there. And his face was starting to drop a bit.
Hearn's my man.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah, great fight. Should have been. It's a headliner on any other day of the week. It's a headliner, that fight. And hopefully he builds the profiles of both fighters and, get behind Nick Ball because he's a good kid.
He's going to cause trouble to everybody.
He's a bloody nightmare.
He just fights the same way, but even when Ford started working him out, it was still hard work for him.
It
wasn't like he just adjusted and then got out of me. Good to Ford, he get to get back, but yeah, I think he's probably going to jump up in weight, so we may or may not see the rematch. Although a lot of people were calling it and saying, yeah. To be fair, I would because it was that close. I think.
No, I think Ford will move up.
Either way.
I think Nick Ball will go straight for a rematch against Vargas.
Yeah. Well, there's a load of matches there.
Big fight. Unified the division and happy days, mate. Well done.
Yeah. I don't think it's that way. So yeah, like another Queensbury, another Frank one. Okay, third one, Hamzah Sheeraz versus Ammo Williams.
Yeah.
You had Williams. I had Sheeraz.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised by the result, though.
Well,
but no, actually,
I was a bit worried when Williams clocked him in the first round or second round, I think.
Ammo come out like a train, man.
He started really well. He started swinging, but he didn't in the first round. He didn't get. It wasn't connected getting going. It was just glove or whatever. It wasn't like hitting him. Sheeraz's defense is quite good, and he seems to have those arms that can cover.
Yeah,
he can hunch up and cover both his body and his head.
It just showed the levels, I think, didn't it?
Well, to be fair, I think Ammo was doing good. The second round, I think I had Williams winning, and obviously he rocked him a bit when he caught him in it coming in. And then I thought, this is the one. I'm going to get this one wrong. But then I think Sheeraz recovered, and then you could see the level. He's a good. I mean, like I say, he just got better. And he just had worked him out and got better. I think they had a game plan to draw him on, let him punch himself out a bit, and then just clock him.
There's a lot of noise about Sheeraz. I can see why. I haven't watched much of him, but from what I have seen, he's a big puncher. He can certainly take a shot as well.
He recovered really well.
Lovely
and
jab.
He caught by a really good shot.
He's got a lovely jab. He really has. I can see by Frank Warren
and combinations. Once he gets to go, and then that's all he did to him. He let him punch himself out a bit, get a little bit tired. But like I said, his defense is pretty good. And
what weight was that again?
Super middleweight. See, that's the only problem. You're in Canelo's kingdom because they're like, he'll go for titles. But Canelo's obviously near the end, so he's got time.
He's not ready for the titles yet, but he's on that.
I think Canelo's probably going to retire by the time he gets to
He's on that stage where he's, now he takes the next step. He's done domestic.
Yeah, because Ammo Williams is a good fighter, isn't it? But he gave him, once he worked him out,
Ammo Williams is a good fighter, and I think Sheeraz is well past domestic level.
Yeah.
I'd say he's above European level. I'd say he's just beat a world.
I'd say he's at the world level, but just
a fringe world level fighter. Now he's got to go and fight a couple of top tens.
Yeah. He's in the conversation, isn't it, to start in that world level now. So I think, the problem in that, like I said, that weight is you've got the king of the division, but like he is at the end of his career. So once he steps up,
thing is, with someone like Sheeraz, he's not going to be bothered. He wouldn't be bothered.
And there's a few other good fighters there, like Gear and co.
He wouldn't be bothered. I don't think he's bothered about fighting them. It's not going to bother him. He's not going to be fazed by that. I think this kid's got the minerals.
I think he needs to get a bit more experience, though.
Yeah, he needs the experience. But if he got a phone call tomorrow and said, right, you're going to be facing Canelo in Vegas in 3 months, you go, yeah, all right.
Yeah, but Simon, if they phoned you and said you're facing Canelo in Vegas, I could be there as well. So.
But no, I just think, and I think he'd go in with confidence of, I can beat him.
No, but I know what you mean. I'm just wondering.
I think he can. I think he's got that much belief in himself.
Well, I think he's got the belief because he's got the ability.
But do you know what?
And it was a good turnaround because obviously he's had the punch against him and then he's turned it round. He's quite good.
Canelo would have to pay me millions to get in the ring with him because I've got a dodgy neck, and if he hit me, you know what I mean? You can get him paralysed, and
No, we'll just tell him to bag you on the arm like he did against our man Smith, Callum Smith.
He wouldn't hit these. He'd missed him to that skinny. No, I think Sheeraz gives a great win. Never knocked anyone out past round 6, has he, before?
I don't think his fights normally go that long, do they? So it's good for him to continue. Williams was tough and he's good and he didn't really give up when he was trying. He had a lot of punch output, but it was just that he wasn't connecting cleanly anyway, really.
What I liked about Sheeraz was the way he went through the gears.
Yeah.
And that shows me when I'm watching the young lads, when they start going through the gears, that to me that means you've got a bit of world class about them.
Well, if we give you an example, isn't it? Let's give us punches, isn't it? Williams threw 503 punches, but he only landed 73. So he's only got like 14%. Sheeraz only threw 372, but landed 134. He's active 36%.
Yeah, because
which is like world class level.
Everything comes off his jab.
Yeah. It's set up, it's combined. There's thought behind it. It's not just random. Williams was a little bit more like, he did his best, tried a lot, but like the defense was too good and he just worked them out. He'd just do it, then there'd be a jab, and then a combo, boom, 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 3-4 hits in one blink, and then you go back off again, let him come forward, and then do it again.
Because Williams had success with that backhand, didn't he, for the first couple of rounds?
Well, the first couple of rounds, it was, I think Sheeraz hadn't worked him out yet. It got to about the third or fourth before he got to, sort of getting into his groove, if you like. That's probably the best way of putting it, isn't it? And then he worked him out in the game plan, then went through the game plan and just carried on. And I think it was a very impressive performance. And again, another Queensberry, Frank Warren won. And this was his captain, so our man got and he got a knockout.
4 points.
4 points, which really put it on Matchroom.
He's one to watch Sheeraz on. I can see why there's been a lot of fuss.
I've seen a few of his fights and he has been very impressive.
Like I say,
I think it's a bit to grow, but I think he's got the potential to grow.
I'd throw him in against some world class fighters now. Get him in them top 5 rankings, and he'll have a world title shot next year, I think.
Just saying 2-1 to me.
And
Queensberry winning 6-0 at this point. Okay, and then we had the sort of fill-in fight, not in the 5v5, but Mr. Bivol, Dimitri Bivol versus Malik Zinad.
You know what I found that funny about this fight? This fight, basically, it looked like an exhibition. And then Bivol got clipped and went, oh, like that is it? And then just went, boom! And it was all over.
Yeah, it looked like he was just doing it as like a sparring session.
Yeah.
Like an exhibition sparring session.
Because Zanuck clipped him with a good shot.
He clipped him and then he got into his face, didn't he? Like
and then
that
was it then. And then Bivol just
started standing on his punch.
But I like that about Bivol. I haven't seen that in a long time. Well, it's nice to see some
emotion, as the commentator said.
He wasn't letting him off the hook either, was he? He had a bit of menace with him. And he's going to need that.
Well, to be fair, he was taking a few punches because Zinad's jab is quite good. Obviously, he had the reach advantage.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether he's just trying to get him to open up and let him have a go. But he took like a few punches, although mostly on the pads, leaning back or whatever. It wasn't like clean. But he took a few punches. But he was also stepping on his. He wasn't like his normal in-out, superb technical boxing.
Superb, isn't he?
It's
Here's one for you then. Just if Bivol beats Better BF, does he go in your pound for pound list? Top 3?
No, but he's in the 4 or 5 with Better BF at the moment. So I have, obviously, the problem is it's like he's undisputed in one weight, but you've got 3 guys who are undisputed in 2 weights. And essentially that's what pound for pound means. Is like, so I think I can't see him move out Usyk. I can't see him move out in a way. And depending on what Crawford does in his next fight. But at this moment in time, I can't see him moving out Crawford. So like, it's really like there's a division of the 3. And then after them, I think if he beats Beterbiev or Beterbiev beats him, I think they go number 4 clear, whichever one wins out of them, and then Canelo. Because I have them 4 and 5, but like it's like 4A and 4B. They're about the same. I think Beterbiev just because his KOs.
Bivol's a masterpiece, man.
I'm a fan of both, though. But Bivol is a technical boxer. I like technical. I like technical boxers. He's probably arguably one of the best.
He's just like so fluid, isn't he?
But did you see the Turkey Al Sheikh's, His Excellency's comment? He goes to Zinad, he goes, yeah, we'll be inviting you back. That was a really good performance. But he goes, when you're fighting a Beterbiev, a Bivol or a Crawford, he goes, they're just machines. So he goes, the fact that you stayed that long, you deserve another go. And he goes, they're definitely coming back.
It just shows the levels, doesn't it? It's just something different. Even the way they've... I mean, like I play.
To be honest, can I say I thought I was actually quite impressed with Zinad. I think he did quite well, considering who he was in against. And then,
he did.
Like you said, it's when he got clipped because he caught him, and then I think he got a little bit overconfident, shall we say? And then Bivol went, "Oh, it's like that is it," and he went into his face.
It's just different, though.
It's like a different level of.
It's like I play golf, and if you ever like one of the pro tours hit the ball. It's the same as these elite boxers. When they land a punch, it just sounds different. They've just got the fluid motion.
Bivol is poetry in motion. When he's in the groove, he is the most of that, I think, of any.
And, it must be so disheartening for the fighters across from them because, like, I mean, there's times
Well, I think the thing is...
You're chasing shadows, aren't you?
Zinad was actually happy because he was like, yeah, I've actually gone toe-to-toe with this guy. And haven't disgraced myself.
He's going to learn a lot from that fight.
But as he said, yeah, you're against the machine. It's very difficult to beat the machine. And I don't think there's any disgrace in losing to that guy because I think it's actually raised his profile rather than...
Zinad, you throw him...
He'd give a lot of people a lot of
He'd give
trouble. Well, the guys we mentioned in the first fight, he'd give anyone a good fight.
So he's got enough. He's got fights there, especially our domestic British level fighters. He could
light heavyweight
give them a lot of money. That light heavyweight division, like we always say, you take away them top two, but after that, it's
open,
beautiful division.
Well, like I said, there's Benavidez is coming into it. Vozdik's come back into it, and he was a world champion until Beterbiev had his way.
There's some great fights out there.
And if you had him into it, he was in the mix, and like all our domestic lot.
You could make a 5v5 just in that division. Honestly, it's such a great division.
And I think there'd be pretty close fights. If you match up well, they're all like the same as this 50-50.
Strong division.
Yeah, it's just Bivol and Beterbiev.
But the thing is they've got to all start fighting each other now. Because once Bivol and Beterbiev get on, if them belts get fragmented, you want to be in that position to fight for them.
You need them all
and so you need to start fighting them guys now. To get yourself there, you've got to do it.
Like I said, Zinad did a good job of getting there. So
the likes of Callum Smith, Anthony Yard, Joshua Boatti, they're taking too much time off. They need to start fighting now.
Yeah. Well, I think they need to, like you said, they've got to be ready when the opportunity presents itself is when these go out of it. Because I don't know if you've seen the other thing, because Bivol, he was presenting Opataya and Benavidez. I think. Oh, did he say Benavidez? Who's the other guy in the division? Yeah, I think it was Benavidez, and that's what the plan. That's why I got Benavidez coming back into it. To get and they've got Opataya, isn't it? Which I wouldn't step up to Opataya because
I have always heard the winner of Bivol Beterbiev will be fighting Jai Opataya.
That'd be cool. That'd be an amazing fight.
Because once whoever wins in that, you've got nothing left in that division.
Yeah.
You really haven't.
They're the two kings of that division, so there's nobody left to
you
fight.
either retire or you move up because there's nothing for you to achieve in that division. And so then it is against Opataya. But we'll wait and see.
Well, Opatai's a bit of a combination of the two, isn't he? So being in either way, it's really interesting. You're against the master technician is obviously Bivol, and the beast is Beterbiev. And Opatai is a bit, I would say, like a mix of the two. He's got that beast and he's got a bit of that technical boxing level in it. But I don't think he's quite as good as either of them in their
I think he's a little bit too big up attire though.
Well, that's my concern. I think Bivol would definitely be, because Bivol isn't hugely. Batterbiev has got the power. I mean, better.
Well,
my son calls him Batterbiev.
When Bivol's considering going down to super middleweight, how can you jump up to crew? It's 14 stone.
Bivol, I don't think is the size. I think even that's the only concern I have against Bivol and Beterbiev, because Beterbiev is just a beast. And his power is like, everybody who's faced it said it's ridiculous. He said they don't understand.
Yeah.
And he's fought bigger people, and he basically makes them give up sparring, isn't it? I've heard some stories where they're saying in the sparring, isn't it, that he just makes them quit. He's ridiculous. So, that kind of thing can change a fight at any moment, and anybody can get caught. Yeah. As special as Bivol is in his boxing skill, I think. But yeah, anyway, but it was a good performance. I think Malik Zinad covered himself did a really good performance to get there in that long, and did well. And he caught him a few times. The jab was good.
And let's not forget, it was a late replacement, so fair dues to Bivol as well, because it must have been hard to get up for that fight.
Yeah, because he was nowhere near the same type of fighter as Beterbiev.
You've been in training camp, you're fighting for the undisputed
just carry on one second.
Light heavyweight title, and then to get it, it's not his fault. It's not, there was an injury. So then to get yourself motivated to fight him, fair dues to the guy. Just shows what a professional he is. So
yeah, and while you've seen that, I just wanted to make sure I got the correct date. Yeah, and then they announced that the actual fight will be in October the 12th.
It's that long, is it? Okay.
Well, I think because he'll obviously train and recover, and there's Beterbiev's recovery, because it's like a knee injury or something, or an elbow injury or something.
Wow. October 12th.
But we've got a busy August, then July, August, September. Now they had October was the one that was a bit blank. Now they filled that up as well. So I'm sure there'll be an event round.
Yeah, there's going to be a big undercard on that as well.
Yeah, well, that's what they think. They already have the December one getting ready. They already have September is going to be Wembley, probably. August is LA.
USA.
Yeah, USA version. July and June, July is already filling up. They've got this one, and I think so. October was the blank month, so I think that's where they'll be filling that one up. So yeah, look forward to.
Very good.
So that's cool. Yeah, okay. This wasn't in the 5v5, but we paused. But I think we both said Bivol anyway, so we both right on that one. Not that was that difficult to. But the big thing is, it was competitive. It wasn't like completely. Yeah. It was one-sided, but it was competitive. And then when, like you said, when Bivol stepped on it, it was just.
Yeah.
But I was surprised how many punches he actually got through. But yeah, Bivol's landing rate, like 42%, 47% in power punches. His accuracy is just like
superb.
Ridiculous. Anyway, right. Next one was really interesting fight. Daniel Dubois versus Filip Hrgovic.
What happened there?
Yeah, exactly. You know when we said before the Hrgovic doesn't look interested? I was watching it with my son. My son's like, it's only round 2. Why does he look so tired? I'm like,
just what happened?
I said, no, that's the way he boxes. But
I mean, the first round, he come out, I thought, he's going to spark him. Dubois
he just went for it, yeah.
Dubois done. And this is it. It's all over.
I was surprised by 2 things. Hrgovic was just looked that same way, where he looks knackered, disinterested, and he does a bit, then has a rest, does a bit, then has a rest. And how fresh and how energetic Dubois was. I was quite surprised, because he kept taking loads of punches, but just kept coming forward.
And it's not like Dubois that he usually...
And Hrgovic loaded.
Dubois usually folds, doesn't he?
Yeah.
We've got him down as a quitter. And he's proven everyone wrong, because, he usually disappears under that pressure.
He's dangerous.
Do you know what? And listening to him in the interviews and afterwards, he's got a little bit of spite and confidence about him, man. A bit of arrogance going. Talking about, you could be fighting. I think
it was a little bit missing after the Joe Joyce thing. He needed to get it back.
And people asking, AJ next? He's like, mate, I'm going to destroy him. You're just like, hold on, where's that come from? He's never been like that. He's always been, we'll see what the team say. And nah, mate, going to destroy him.
He was a little bit bored in his things, let's be honest. Now he's actually quite interesting.
Just like, all right, well, where are you coming from here?
I think Hrgovic was disappointing, and I think the cuts stopped his vision a bit, and he started... He couldn't see some of the punches, which I think, because he was actually doing better. He was hitting them really, really a lot. That right hand was just going through whenever he wanted. Bam, 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 bam. And I think he was in to try and his game plan was to stop him early, make him quit, but didn't work. And then I think the cuts, wherever they come from, because they were saying a headbutt first, but then they're saying it was a punch, and then he had both left and right eye.
I mean, the cuts. Do you know what? I think
he can come back, but he was like disappointing performance.
I think even if that fight had carried on, I think Dubois was going to knock him out. He just looked dead on his feet, Hrgovic.
Yeah.
He really, really did. And fair dues to Dubois. He's a big lump, and he looks like he's getting bigger.
Yeah. He was in great shape. Well, that's what I mean, because the size of him, you would have thought he's going to start gassing, but he didn't. He carried on going.
Think it still gets caught too often for me. And against...
Well, what I said to my son was that I said, they're both good, but both of them are getting caught too much. I said, AJ hits hard.
Mate, AJ...
I said, AJ is technically cleaner boxing than
I think
that.
AJ's going to look... AJ would have been looking at that going, this boy can cause me a few problems. I mean, and there's all the sparring stories that Dubois was flattening AJ in sparring and stuff. But AJ would be looking at that going, mate, you ain't getting up if I land my right hand on you.
Yeah. If I land my right hand 2 or 3 times, you ain't going anywhere.
No
even
way
once.
you're getting up.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
I wouldn't suspect to get up. Although Hrgovic's chin is pretty damn good. Because he did get caught a few times.
But I don't think
Hrgovic,
I don't think he don't carry the power Joshua does.
No. Well, the amount of right hands he got through, if he really had the power, but again, he caught him clean.
But again, it's just
AJ would have taken him out. That punch he did to what's the MMA fighter's name?
Ngannou.
Yeah. The punch he did to that, either of them are just going to be the same position. It'd be cleaned out.
That punch just lands on anyone in the world. It's knocking them out.
Nobody'd get it through because Hrgovic was getting his through. And I think
what got me is
Joshua's is cleaner.
Is Hrgovic caught Dubois with some monster punches.
Again and again and again.
Usyk's the biggest puncher in the division.
Usyk made him quit with he's supposed to have no power.
Usyk's the biggest puncher in the division. End of conversation.
Yeah.
Good night.
I was disappointed with Hrgovic. I mean, I was impressed by Dubois because, you said, he didn't quit, and I was disappointed.
I've been a bit, on the show.
In a way, I'm happy he's won.
Yeah, on this show, I've given Dubois some proper criticism.
Yeah. Well, I think not undeserved. Some of it maybe, but not in general, it wasn't undeserved. But maybe Usyk's just that big a puncher.
It's not just that. It's been all his fights have been proper critical of him, but I think something's clicked.
I think against Miller, once he was getting rocked, and then he's got back.
Well, he's
given him a little bit of change of attitude as well.
What's his name? The old Derek Chisora trainer. Don Charles.
Yes.
And I just think he's got a bit of confidence.
Well, he had a little bit of that style, but obviously he's got a bit more game to him than Chisora has. But he had a little bit that kept just coming forward, which isn't his normal style.
No, like I say, there's something to click.
I mean, he got caught a lot.
Yeah, he's got confidence. Fair dues to the guy. He showed that he's got some minerals. Definitely, Jesus. I mean, because he was taking some big shots.
Hrgovic was winning most of those rounds.
But like I said,
first, second, third is
and he's only 26, isn't he? Dubois.
Well, that's what we said when he fought Usyk. Irrespective of size, Usyk is a master, grandmaster now, as we know. For him. And it was too soon for him. It was a level too high. I think now after these couple of fights, I think it isn't the wrong time to fight like an AJ.
He's the IBF champion.
I'll give you one. Him versus Caballel. Because you're obviously a big Caballel fan as well.
I just don't think it happens, though.
No.
Problem is because he's got that IBF, and do that because if that title could get dropped, he's fighting AJ at Wembley next. Yeah. Let's be honest, that's the fight, innit?
You don't think it's going to be Zhang?
No. I think AJ's going to be, mate, I want that title. And AJ's focus, and whether Dubois, Zhang's won, I think AJ's got a little bit of call on the shot. Do you know what I mean?
I think AJ beats either of them as well.
But it's not just that. I think AJ's
although you never know, Dubois surprises now.
I think AJ can pick who he wants to fight and it'll happen. in that respect because he's a bit like Canelo in that aspect, isn't he?
Do you think Warren will be a bit confident now?
Yeah, I mean,
he's got nothing to lose.
The thing with Warren, the thing with Frank Warren is he backs his fighters, just like Eddie Hearn does. But I mean, that's a big fight now, isn't it? Dubois, Joshua at Wembley for an IBF title.
Well, he's raised his profile, I think, because Hrgovic was unbeaten, and he's had some closer fights, obviously, against Zhang as well.
Does that sell out Wembley? Dubois, Joshua, Wembley.
I think AJ by himself sells out Wembley, innit? But I think they'll have some other things on the card to make it worthwhile.
I mean, that's a big fight now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huge fight in the boxing world.
But
Zhang.
Well, British contest, you're going to sell out
Zhang,
with both of them on there.
I mean, we'll come on to them in a minute.
Well,
but
we were
Dubois,
both wrong on this one, by the way.
Yeah, I mean,
Hrgovic, Queensberry and Frank Warren again, because I don't think this is the one they didn't expect.
Where do you think Hrgovic goes now, though?
I think he's still got an opportunity to come back because it wasn't like he didn't get knocked out. He didn't get thingy. It was stopped because obviously his injuries and however they've turned up. And the injuries did look quite nasty. He was, I would have said he was winning the fight till that point on. It was close, but I would say he was winning the fight. It was technically he was better than Dubois. But I think energy-wise, whether he didn't look in the greatest shape. He normally looks better than that.
He just disappointed more.
And he looked like he wasn't disinterested like he normally does. But we've said that before.
Yeah, it's weird.
He was disappointing, and I think Dubois was better than what we expected. And he looked bigger. He looked in better shape, and he didn't gas. And he had a bit of that, like whether taking some things out of Nick Ball's book of just going forward.
Yeah, I mean,
and he took a hell of a lot of good shots.
Yeah.
I mean, Hrgovic probably would have got most people out of there that aren't at the elite level.
No, fair dues.
But both of them got caught a bit too much. And I think if you're that level against an elite guy, I think old Wilder would take either of them out. I think AJ takes them out. Fury would take either of them out. And yeah, Usyk is the king of power punching in the heavyweight division now. We've learned the hard way. He did take one of them out, and I think he beats the other one.
To him, he's got, he'll get a... If he doesn't
it's
get
a good performance, because I think Hrgovic, you could see at the skill level, it was just whatever. He hasn't trained. He's looked past them or whatever it was. Give kudos to Dubois instead of slagging off Hrgovic too much. But anyway, we were both wrong on that. But again, Queensberry win. They got another one. They got a knockout or a stoppage. So he got 2 points for that as well. So I think this point they were
crying
8-0 up, weren't they?
I think this point Eddie Hearn ran back into the dressing room and gone, Wilder, mate, you need to get me out of this. Get the guy out of here. Make this score look a little bit respectable, please.
Well, I think when it was 6-0, they were hoping that that's why the Hrgovic, he told him to knock him out, and then they were hoping for Wilder.
Well, I think that's why I think they were looking for a draw there,
But at that point, it was all over.
It's all over.
And then and we talk about Zhang. So, Wilder versus Zhang. Wilder did actually start okay. But he was just looking for that right hand, and he didn't let it go enough. Because when he did, they were both too cautious in this fight. This is the one that wasn't a great fight, let's be fair. All the others were good fights. There was a lot of fireworks.
We said this could be a boring fight, though, didn't we?
We said they're going to be cautious, aren't they? Because both of them know the other one can bang, and then it's...
And I'm putting this out there right now. Wilder's going to get hurt in the ring unless he retires.
He's going to retire now. He said before, isn't it? I think that was... To be honest, he was better than he was against Parker. He looked more like he was there, but I think that old fire has gone.
Yeah, he's going to get hurt,
with the 3 fights against Fury, and I don't think he's going. He shouldn't. He doesn't need to.
He's seriously going to get hurt.
Well, there's nothing for him to do. He had to win this, and then he's got the big fight against AJ, which everybody wants to see. But I think now that's no.
He's got to retire. I mean, and Turkey Al Sheikh, please don't offer him another fight, because he could get really hurt.
There's not much point.
And as much as I don't like Wilder, you don't want to see any boxers get hurt, and I think he could.
Well, it was good to see him that recovered at the end, because the punches that Zhang hit him were like... Zhang is deceptive. His power is like... His punches don't look like they're that much, but...
He's just Chinese power, baby.
Yeah, like he said.
Chinese power.
And the thing is, at that point, Wilder was actually opening up a bit, and he's just got caught. He's caught him, but like Zhang's got back, ridden the punch, and then bam, bam, boom, or what is it, bang, bang, and it's all over.
I mean, it throws Zhang back in the mix. Zhang's always going to be a nightmare for people because of that. He has got destructive power.
It's like we said though, innit? If he catches you in the, I think that's why I had on one, isn't it? If he catches you in the first up to 6 rounds, you're going to be going. Up to that point, he's dangerous. Once he starts gassing out, you've got the chance, which is basically what Parker did to him. And you need to maintain that high work rate. And the problem is, should we see how many punches were thrown in this? Basically, it is
10.
Yeah, but basically
11.
First round, there was 5 punches. Second round is 17. 10 in the third, 9 in the fourth, and 8 in the fifth. So,
that's so poor, isn't it?
33 punches, total punches from Zhang landed out of 73, and Wilder had 16 landed out of 95. So, he did throw more punches, but still. That's like,
so how many punches did Zhang throw in?
73 in 5 rounds.
In 5 rounds, he threw 73 punches.
And landed basically half.
That is so poor.
The jabs, there was 9 jabs in landed in 5 rounds.
That's so bad. What's all that about?
They were cautious. I don't think we were wrong on this one.
Cautious.
But just to say, you had Wilder, I had Zhang. Although I did have second round KO, but fifth, it's not that far. I did say within halfway. So again, he clean sweeped it for Queensberry, 10-0 at this point.
That's
just cautious. And
I watched the highlights and.
They were just trying for the big punches.
The highlights looked so scruffy. I'm not going to lie, and I was just like, "What the heck
compared
is
to the
this?"
other fights, it wasn't a great contest.
But the thing is, Wilder wins that. He's fighting AJ in Wembley next, I think, because it's the.
I think that was the plan.
Yeah,
and he loses. I think it's
he's
retirement.
had 2 opportunities now. Sorry, mate. And Turkey Al-Sheikh will be devastated because I think that he's always wanted AJ Wilder. It doesn't appeal to anyone anymore. It really, really doesn't. I've lost my appetite for that fight now.
Well, I think everyone wanted to see it, but you want to see it if it was the old bronze bomber.
I don't want to see it anymore.
Yeah, because he's been disappointing in his 2 fights.
Mate, it's gone.
AJ takes him out in a round. I think it's not even a contest.
It's a horrible fight now. It's nothing. Wilder's, like I say, he's not there. Zhang, on the other hand,
Zhang's dangerous for everybody.
Weirdly, he's thrown right back in the mix. But is it because? But let's not get carried away.
Well, the guy they're saying for Zhang maybe is a Caballel.
Caballel destroys him.
Yeah, I think Caballel beats him.
And this is my point is. Let's not get carried away.
To be fair, though, I think Caballel beats either Hrgovic or Dubois as well.
Deontay Wilder is a spent force. It's not like Zhang's gone in there and beat.
No, I think it was the old
special.
Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder catches him. It's over, and he did catch him a few times.
Not even that. Forget about that. Wilder's
been a spent force after the 3 fights with Fury.
Yeah,
it's nothing left.
So
and he's changed in his perception.
Jump on. Yeah, it's a big name, but let's not get carried away. Zhang's beat Deontay Wilder, who is nothing anymore.
Yeah, but I think
he's not nothing, but he's...
Yeah, but he also cleaned Joyce out twice and other people, and he hasn't been knocked down. And realistically, his fight against Hrgovic was iffy loss. And then it's only Joseph Parker, and Joseph Parker's gone into... I think Joseph Parker's better than most of these. I think the only one that's dangerous, I think Caballel and Parker are the 2 who impress me the most.
I just think the people are going to jump on the bandwagon and be like, oh, Zhilei, Zhang, blah. Let's look who he's beat. Yeah, he's beat Deontay Wilder. It's not Deontay. It's a 38-year-old Deontay Wilder.
Not really. Like I said, it's not the bronze bomber. It's Deontay Wilder. If he's beat the bronze bomber, it's a different thing. It wasn't really that. But still, you've got to win where you're in the fight you're in.
I mean, the heavyweight division, you throw Zhang's name back in there. Dubois, Joe Parker, Caballel, Joshua.
Well, who for you? Obviously, Joshua's there anyway. Who's out of the others? Who's your most impressive ones? Who you think? Because I've said Parker and Caballel are the ones I think have been most impressive. Dubois was impressive in this, but I'm not sure Hrgovic was disappointing.
You throw Dubois up there.
But Caballel, to me, and Parker,
superb,
in his last 4 fights or whatever, 3, 4, where he's won all of them, has just got he's got into a groove, and he's been busy, which is the good thing. He's been making the effort.
I mean,
and Caballel has come out of nowhere, but his last 2 performances
I tell you
fantastic.
what's a great fight is Caballel, Joe Parker. That's a great fight, that. But I would want to see them. I'd keep them 2 separate, away from each other.
Yeah. I'd want to see that for the title.
Yeah, that's a great title fight.
I think both of them should clean out these lot in it.
I think Caballel...
I think Dubois is in that mix, and then then you have to get one of the others, like the Anderson, whatever it is, Jared Anderson, and one of those other coming up ones. Put them in with them. I think Zhang is the thing with Zhang is he's at the wrong end of his. If he's 30, 31, whatever it is, then there's opportunity.
He's just a bloody nightmare, though, Zhang, isn't he?
He's hard work for anybody, and he could beat anybody because he's got the power to do it.
Absolute
and he's a big
nightmare.
lump that he's 282 pounds. It's like
he's one of them, though. Like you could beat him, have a rematch. He could beat you, and then you could fight him again. You'd beat him, and then you could fight him again. He'd beat you. That's the type of fighter he is. Just because of he has got great power.
If he catches you, see, that's where I had an issue with Dubois fighting him. Dubois would be hard.
I tell you what, though, I've got the fight.
Go on.
It's the rematch. Hrgovic Zhang.
Yeah.
There's the fight. That's the fight, isn't it?
That's the fight. Yeah.
Fight Hrgovic, you won away back. You beat Zhang. Zhang, you only got 1 loss on your record.
Avenge it. Well, he's got 2, but avenge that.
There you go. Bish,
The
bash,
problem for
bosh.
Zhang is you can gas him out, isn't it? And I think that's the problem. If you get him past 6 rounds, if you give him a high work rate like Parker did,
I mean,
there's
it's a good
game
fight
plan to
for him
beat
now, isn't it?
I think Hrgovic versus him, it's because it's redemption for Hrgovic or for Zhang can avenge his loss. So, yeah.
Because isn't Andy Ruiz fighting Jarrell Miller, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, Andy Ruiz
that's on the... Isn't that on the Crawford? That's on the Crawford
that's
card.
on their one. Yeah.
And I reckon, the winner of that, they're thrown in the mix.
Well, I think, Miller, unless he turns around. But I think Ruiz, if he wins and does a good, impressive performance, is in that mix anyway, isn't it? He's in the conversation.
Andy Ruiz.
Miller's really...
Yeah, I mean, it's a great division. Like I say, I'm just a Caballel fan. I am. I think he's the best out of that little bunch.
Well, I think he's had the most impressive performances. But you don't see a weakness.
No.
With Zhang, there's an obvious weakness. You gas him out.
Yeah.
If you can keep him going. If you put a work rate on like a Usyk would or somebody like that, he's going to be on. There's nothing left after round 6.
I think Caballel would fancy go with Zhang. And his body punches on Zhang as well. I think it'd zap his energy so quick.
I think Caballel knocks him out.
Yeah. Wow. That's a claim. I think
he'll gas him up.
That big granite head of Zhang's, mate.
But Makhmedov was like that, isn't it? And he just did him. I think he's got enough in him because I think his defense is way better than like Dubois or theirs because he's more like what Parker did, and I think he's got that finishing power and he's got enough skill.
Do you think we're going to see another like? Do you remember the first one? It was all the heavyweights against. Do you think we're going to see another?
I hope so.
Another card like that where it's just heavyweights.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind. I think, like you said, light heavyweight, you could do that. I think a heavyweight, you could do that. There's enough of them that are close. If you take the elite ones out, which we know.
I mean, because
if you take the biggest puncher, Usyk, and then the others out. I wouldn't mind seeing Zhang versus Fury. That would be quite interesting fight.
Do you know what? I think Fury boxes his head off.
Yeah.
I genuinely do.
But it'd be interesting if he catches him.
Yeah. I mean, because you could make... If you were trying
I think you've called the fight for Zhang and Hrgovic for redemption.
You could have Zhang
Hrgovic.
You got Joe Parker, Caballel, Andy Ruiz, the winner, AJ, Daniel Dubois. There's eight
well,
fighters
if you think Dubois is
there.
going for AJ, then that's there. But do you think what do you think Dubois beats him? What's the chances percentage
against AJ?
Yeah, I can see why you look. That's what I was saying. That's my basic thoughts. You don't need to say anything.
You're talking to me, asking me that. AJ's my best mate, isn't he? Do you know what?
Well, no, but if AJ boxes like he's got into his groove and he seems to have that thing back, I can't see Dubois beating him.
AJ's got a surprise in him, Annie, where he can get chinned. Well, so everyone says. and it's the heavyweight division. But I just think AJ's too much for Dubois.
I think the thing is this. I think he's got the power, and I think he's a better technical boxer than
I think
Dubois.
AJ knocks him out in a couple of rounds, to be fair.
I think he'll probably go more than a couple, but by halfway, I'd suspect that AJ will have him out of there.
It's like
Although if he defends like he did against Hrgovic, yeah,
it's
2-3 rounds, it's going to be
honestly.
over. Yeah.
AJ lands
As soon as he lands the right hand,
that right hand. I mean, that right hand.
and he's
it's
so
all
susceptible to the right hand. And AJ's is better than Hrgovic's.
It's got far more power. Thrown it with a bit of speed as well, doesn't he?
Well,
He's throwing
it's
it
not-
with menace now.
No, but I think it's a technique. You won't see it if you can't see Hrgovic's coming because Hrgovic is bending a bit. And
The
doing
only
it.
one
I think AJ's 1-2 is.
I mean, there's just two
harder.
heavyweights that I think I wouldn't like AJ to have I'd be like, it'd be Zhang, but only for a couple of rounds, and Caballel, just because I'm proper all over Caballel at the moment. I just think he's
What
superb.
about Parker against him? In this version of Parker? Because the last version of Parker, I don't think Parker did himself glory when he fought AJ. And AJ was in the groove. And Parker seemed to be like he froze.
You know what? Because I think AJ fought that fight differently as well. He boxed Parker, didn't really go at him.
But the new version of Parker is, he's got through Zhang, he's got
great,
through Wilder,
yeah.
he's got the things, he's got...
I just think AJ... No, I'd still pick AJ at the minute.
I did in favour of AJ, but I think that's quite close fight. I think the two dangerous ones for him. Well, the three if he fights Dubois is obviously dangerous and can win. If he can take the punch and suddenly does it, then I think it becomes interesting. But I think AJ will get him out fairly quickly if he opens up. But then it may be that they don't play the same tactics. It depends how good his corner is. If they work it out and fight a bit more, Dubois will make an interesting fight. If he fights like that, then it's basically, it's not going to last very long. Caballel and Parker, I think, are the ones that are close. But Caballel is the one that I think is the most dangerous because he's the unknown one, and I don't think he's faced anybody quite like that who's as big, the same size. And
like I said, I'm pretty sure AJ a couple of years ago even said like this Caballel, he can scrap. He says he's a good fighter.
Well, he's been the most because obviously Frank Sanchez is no mug, and he took care of him unbeaten and good.
But I mean,
he was a bit disappointing because I think he was a bit injured, but still,
don't count.
But Frank Sanchez could be.
Yeah, don't count him out of these equations.
Other than Caballel, I mean, if you put Sanchez against some of these other ones, I think his skill level and power and stuff is capable of taking them out.
I mean, I think what's happened now is, I think Turkey Al-Sheikh, he's had this little circle of heavyweights. I think Deontay Wilder's out of that now.
Yeah, that was only because everyone wanted to see him versus.
So I think he's got
gone out.
He's got to bring another heavyweight in for his little circle, and I think Frank Sanchez will most probably get in that circle.
I'd be surprised if he wasn't there at some point.
Or the winner or Andy Ruiz, the winner of Andy Ruiz Miller is most probably going to go in it. But these heavyweights need to be ready because I tell you what, I bet you. I think there's something big coming.
Well, they're saying it, isn't it? That they
there's
are. And I think
big.
all the events. Well, if you just look at that, they've filled up October now. If Better Be Evan Bivol happens, then that'll be a big event.
I think
as
there's
well.
a big heavyweight event coming. I can feel it.
There's 2 or 3 heavyweights in everything in it. Contest really in it. And the 5v5s, all of them. They've got most of the ones they're filling up the cards. So, yeah, I think there's enough of them there. Okay, yeah. So let me just see which ones who won. And
you won. Whatever.
We get that out the way.
Yeah,
and Queensbury won.
I've got it over that. Mate,
But 10-0.
Eddie Hearn's going to be... Honestly, Eddie Hearn right now, in a way, look, I know you've got a promoter, but seriously...
I need you. Canelo, you get here now.
Benavidez, do you want to move up to light heavyweight? Mate, I've got a fight for you. He's on the blower, isn't he now, Eddie Hearn? Bam, bam. Make sure you win. I've got a fight picked out for you.
I need you as well. We need to make this submission.
He's on the right blower now. He picked Eddie Hearn. He's looking at all the free agents. Right, who's only got 1 fight contracts left? He's not. He's. But what makes it really good is apparently they're already in talks for another 5v5.
Well, both of them said it, all of them said it, because obviously Turkey Al-Sheikh took the piss out of him a bit, like, you need to come back. Eddie, you know,
Eddie
you can retire now.
Mate, he will hate that, Eddie Hearn. Honestly, he will hate that.
But they were saying they're in talks anyway, they're in conversation for some more things. So
I mean,
think
but what's great is there's not going to be, there's going to be a bit of banter about it. But they've shook hands, right? Let's do it again. Great stuff. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think it was a great event.
And do you know what?
Look
It's
forward to more of
horrible.
them.
Like, you know, you wish you go back 5 years and you look at the fighters that they've had and you think, oh, what could have been? What could have been? But I'm telling you now, if you don't make either like an Anthony Yard or a Callum Smith in the next one, you're getting it. I'm coming. Because that needs to be made.
And on that note, I think we'll leave it. Okay, so let us know what you think of the fights. Like, subscribe, comment, the usual stuff. What else you'd like us to see?
One more thing. The atmosphere looked a bit flat in there yesterday as well, I thought. You know what?
We don't really hear it in
there's
there.
this big thing, isn't there? Like, oh, you can't really tell. And it looked, watching the highlights, it looked like it was like the first fight of a mega evening, you know, the R5 fight. Just I don't know. I mean, most probably was wild there, but on telly it looked like there was no atmosphere at all. So
Yeah, I don't think they bring it through on that, but we've said that before. But
weird.
then the people who are there saying it's really, really good.
yeah,
So
it's so weird. We're gonna have to go to see it ourselves.
yeah, we'll have to we have to get invited, Sam, to investigate this, because, you know, we don't believe there was an atmosphere. We need the proof of the
Maybe
pudding.
we could go over Liverpool, find Nick Ball. Right, mate, how you doing? When are you next in Saudi again? Right.
Yeah, we need to investigate.
I'll carry your bags.
Yeah. We can help. Yeah, and on that note, we'll leave it. See you in the next one. Thank you very much
thanks
for
a lot.
listening and watching.